Hello, people. Let me turn on the music. Please tell me if good old copyright free, royalty free 8-bit music. Today, first of all, before I start talking about the actual things I'm gonna be showing you guys today, I wanna pull a little bit of a trick from our good old programmer Kado's little book and talk about a game that I've been playing while I look for the stuff that I was meant to take apart here for the stream that I was gonna need, but I forgot to put it in a separate folder. But yeah, a game I'm not. This is gonna sound really bad, but I'm a beginner gamer, guys. I'm not much of a gamer girl. Most of my gaming experience is with games from the 90s. Like very old Windows 95, 96, I don't remember the name of the Windows. But yeah, very old games. So I'm just now starting to dip my fingies into some more different games since yeah, I am working in the industry, so I do need to be familiar with them. So I'm just now starting to explore it a little bit more. Back in the day, your girl used to only play Guitar Heroes, Age of Empires, and Empire Earths and stuff like that. Now a girl is exploring, not that much yet. The first exploration that I have done is into RPGs for obvious reasons, because we are making Exaudia, that is an RPG. So, since Pixel Boy had bought, I think a year ago or two, Zelda Breath of the Wild, I was like, okay, that is an RPG, and that's an RPG that from what I've heard people say and from what Pixel Boy told me, is more on the... Why won't it do the thing? Oh, I forgot to click the thing, okay. But from what Pixel Boy told me, it is a little bit more on the different side. It's more interactive, has a little bit more different elements to it, you know? It's not just an RPG, it has a little bit of everything. So I got interested, and he also said that you can cook in the game, and I had done cooking before, just to help him while he was playing, and I did enjoy that a lot. So I decided to play Breath of the Wild, and my god, that shit is addicting. Your girl gotta be serious over here, and that game is addicting. That game is it just does things to me. It's just there's so much to do, man. I'm on the game and I'm okay, I'm just gonna, I don't know, hunt some frogs because a girl wants to make some elixirs because they sell well. I found some recipes on Reddit for some where elixirs that you use certain types of ingredients and then they come off more expensive and you can sell them for more. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get me some frogs to make some elixirs. And then a girl goes to get the frogs, and then when she going to get the frogs, she stumbles upon a Lionel, and she's like, girl, what? And then she has to defeat the Lionel. She dies 5 times, calls for a boyfriend, and then boyfriend defeats Lionel. And then it becomes a whole thing that you're now hunting Lionels, because you find out the Lionels also give star fragments, and you don't feel like just sitting on top of a hill for hours to wait for the star to fall and then chase the star for the star to fall on the fucking water and for you to not get the star. So yeah, it's just a big snowball effect of you always want to do one more thing and you always forget that hours have gone by and you're still playing the fucking game when you're actually just gonna play a little bit before dinner. So yeah, that's my experience and I'm loving it. It's kind of addicting. We already basically finished the game because we already did the whole fight with Ganon and shit, but then we were just well, shit, we still want to do stuff here though, so we just went back to the save and we just be doing stuff. I got the house now. I have a little house with a bed and a little flower and a little table, and I have a garden, and I have places to put my little sword, and it's yeah, I have little sword displays and shield displays and my little bow displays, and I love that house. Best part of the game is having a house. I was asking for that shit for a while, and then we found out that I actually had it, and I was like, hell yeah. So yeah, that's basically my experience with Breath of the Wild up to now. I am having fun, even though some things in that game take a really long fucking time to farm. Like, we've been farming ancient cores for what, a month? And okay, we managed to get the armor.
2 weeks or something.
A few weeks. We managed to get the armor we wanted because we were farming the core so we could get the ancient armor. But then we wanted to upgrade the armor, and to upgrade the armor, more ancient cores and stuff, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, Kado is basically talking about the bonfire technique to get star fragments. To create a bonfire on top of a mountain and rest at the time the dragon usually comes by. Easy farming. Yeah. I just don't have the patience, bro.
Also, the star can still fall.
Yeah,
out of your reach
my
and
big
fall
thing with
off.
actually farming stars when like they're falling like actually from the sky is that they can just fall in the fucking water. That has happened, and it's so annoying because like I took my time to run to the fucking star and like mark the star and get to the star, and then I get to the star and it falls in the water and I'm looking at the star and I can't get the star. That's just annoying. But the rest, amazing, love it, 10/10, would recommend. And I'm not really an RPG kind of girl, so it's a good one. Like, not my type of game and I still enjoy it. Well done, Zelda, like, well done. So, we have viewers. Time has gone by. It's been like 10 minutes of me talking about Zelda, so let's talk about marketing. This is what all of you have come here to see. All 4 of you, most of them probably from our team, but it's fine. But it's what all of us came here to see, and it's what I'm here to talk about, which is marketing. I opened up this thing just so I can like do stuff for you guys while I'm talking, because from the last live that I did talking about marketing, I realized that when I talk about marketing, I like basically my whole brain goes marketing and I can't think of art, so I get very distracted and don't do any art. So I'm just gonna sit over here and explain to you guys a few things about marketing and frictionless media and stuff. So, where should I start? If anyone has any suggestions, I am open, but am thinking. Okay, yeah. I can start with like branding. That is something that is very important. Like branding. Wait, why are his brushes so weird? God damn it. Pixel boy, why your brush is weird? Okay, is it better? No, this is not better. It's probably the flow. Why? Okay, I'm just gonna have to be very harsh with the brushing. Why won't it delete now? Why does your PC not like me? Okay, there you go. So, okay, wait. Is Brad the most important branded person?
The most branded person.
Lol. Nah. Brads are basic. No. And I'm sorry to all Brads out there that are listening to this, but your name kind of has a bad connotation, bro. I would rebrand. But yeah. Let's talk about...
That's what it is when you go to the court and change your name. You're rebranding yourself.
Yeah, basically. Let's talk about brand. Brand and branding is very important for today's marketing. Back in the day, nobody used to give a shit about this. Like, people just came up with names, and that was the name because of some reason. Like, it was the name of the guy that founded the company. It was the name of, like, the dog that the guy really liked, and he died before the company began. So he was like, oh, I'm gonna name a company after my dog. Something along those lines. That's a fictional company. Let's not get into that. But yeah, he was talking about Dunder Mifflin. But yeah, brand nowadays is like the key. Because, why? Because nowadays, your brand is not just a name or a thing that sells a thing or that provides a service. Your brand is a person. Your brand has a personality. Your brand is like a being.
It's alive.
It's alive. It's alive. Your brand needs to be alive. It needs to have a personality, an essence. And that is the most important thing that you can do. Take our brand, for example, Untitled Game Studios. How did we come up with that? It's actually a funny story. I'm not sure if I actually told this in detail anywhere. I think it might have a little bit of that on our site, like under the About Us thing. But basically, how did we start? The boys already kind of had grouped together to create Exaudia and yeah, for a class. And the professor, I don't know why, but the professor was like insisting that they had to have a studio name. I don't know why, like that's kind of dumb of the professor. Like the point is to make the game, not the studio. What the fuck?
Class about making games.
Yeah, it's a class about making games. Why should you have to name your studio? But nonetheless, the professor asked for that, and that was kind of a great opportunity because the boys were struggling to think of a name, and I don't know which one of you guys, like you guys can tell me in the comments. You guys probably don't even remember anymore anyway. But yeah, one of you guys came up with the idea of just naming the thing Untitled. Like
Yeah,
in
because of how the original file folder of Exaudia was, it didn't, when it still didn't have a name, it was called just Untitled RPG Game.
Yeah, Exaudia back in the day before it became Exaudia. Why is your computer so slow with my tablet thing? Like your Photoshop is dying, bro.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I'm just gonna get the logo, fuck. But yeah, back in the day before Exaudia became Exaudia, Exaudia was just, the name of the game was Untitled RPG. So they were like, hey, what if we go for something along those lines and name our studio Untitled Game Studios? And this is where this came from. Our good old logo, our brand, our name. And back in the day I wasn't actually... Wait, Kado said something? By the way, Exaudia started as Untitled RPG Game, yes. Then we named our game Exaudia, and the studio became Untitled Game Studios, aka UGS. Exactly. And then we became Untitled Game Studios. And back then, when this all happened, I was still in my master's, like having classes and all that shit, so I didn't have much time to help the boys with the branding. But I remember the moment, like, Pixel Boy or Hick said that, like, oh, maybe we should name it Untitled Game Studios because of this, and that. I was like, and he was like, yeah, because we want to name that because we want to, like, just keep the focus on the game and just make the game. We don't want to waste the time. And I was like, dude, perfect tagline right there. Like, Untitled Game Studios, and then our tagline is, if I can select this and actually go, is focus on the game. That's why our name is Untitled, because we just did not want to bother to name our studio because we wanted to focus on the game. Because that is basically like the whole idea behind our brand. That is what I was talking about, of having a personality to a brand. Our brand is very much like that sort of person. No hugs, Uggs, lol, Cado. But yeah, our brand is very much that person that, like, wants to make something that is legit, that is a full game, that is a fun game, and that is a legitimate working game. Nay, EA. Fucking EA. We don't want to be EA. We want to focus on the game and deliver games that are fully made and good and are different and have, like, some weird stuff in there. Wait.
Not breaking at the seams.
And not breaking at the seams, basically. And that was the beginning of our brand personality. And that's just... What did 5 card say?
Nothing.
Nah, but we are open for hugs, though. No! Okay. But yeah.
It's pronounced U-G-S. Hugs. Ah, okay.
I didn't say hugs, I said Uggs. Because it's U-G-S. Uggs.
At that point, it's the question: is it an acronym or is it a?
Hey, don't compare it to GIF and GIF. I'm not a fucking inbred. I pronounce it GIF. Like, anyone that pronounces GIF does not know how to pronounce the letter G. Like, my God.
And that's just a thing that when you make an acronym, there's the definition acronym, and there's another definition that I don't remember what the name was, but
whatever.
One is about
whatever. It's UGS or UGS. Anyone can pronounce it any other way. It's just Untitled Game Studios. That is our name. But continue with it. We began with just this. Our first brand was what? We want to focus on the game. So we are Untitled and we're just keeping it going and focusing on our game. But then, like, that's a pretty basic brand. You can't really do much with just like, oh yeah, we're focusing on the game. Yeah, what else? What else describes your brand? How is your brand? How are you gonna talk to us? How are you gonna be interacting? How are your posts gonna be? Like, you gotta come up with the person, man. You gotta come up with the persona. So I started to do some research and in general, like, really deep dive into the whole gamer community. That was scary, gotta admit. As a not that much gamer girl, you boys kind of scary, but you're cool, you interesting. I like the research. So from my research, what did I come up with for our brand? Our brand basically is like the memer. Our brand is like that gamer boy that doesn't take anything too seriously apart from his projects and that loves to meme. Everything is a meme, everything is a reference. Because from my experience, in general, from studying frictionless media and digital marketing, and from the amount of different Instagram accounts that I follow and Twitter accounts and YouTubers and all that stuff, I have noticed that the easiest way to connect to an audience, to develop your own audience, and to, in general, just grow online is references. Like, girl, references can get you really far. Because that's what memes are. And let's basically say, like, when you're referencing something, you're basically playing to the person's nostalgia. And nostalgia is like a girl. This shit is strong. This is like a drug. Like, people love nostalgia, especially nowadays with the whole vintage, retro and stuff. Like, nostalgia is a very strong weapon to have in your arsenal. And references do that. If you know how to reference certain things that you know are gonna bring up the nostalgia, that you know are gonna bring up, like, there are things that your niche, your fandom, the group of people that you wanna interact with know, then yeah, they're gonna be nostalgic. They're gonna wanna interact more. They're gonna wanna talk more to you. They're just gonna wanna interact. The more you reference stuff that they like, because that is also kind of a connection. Like, let's take this all the way back to the human level. Like, yeah, someone gave us a follow? We have a new follower? Oh, wait. Twitch didn't... Where? Twitch is not telling me which one. Who is the new follower? Hello, new person. You, hello. We are weird, but we welcome you. Hello. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, taking this to real life, I think is like the easiest way to understand what I'm talking about. Like, when you're trying to make new friends, what is the easiest way to connect to a stranger that you kind of think is cool and that you kind of want as a friend? Find common ground, find things that both you and the person like, and talk about it. And that's literally like something you can do with actual branding, like something I do a lot. Let me make this bigger, because this is basically like, wait, not this, this is not what I wanted this one. Yeah. What? Why you not make bigger? Show transform controls. Why is your Photoshop all weird, man? What the fuck? But yeah, this is a little thing that I do for anyone that wants to like use this trick. I deeply recommend. This is very nice for marketing people to organize social media feeds. I do this on Illustrator. It's just a bunch of little squares organized like the Instagram feed. So I can organize our feed beforehand and know how it's gonna look like when it's all filled out, so I can be a little bit more organized and I can have a little bit more of a vision. Let me just see what people said in the chat. As a programmer who pronounces Uggs as said you can see UGS, it was called... Okay. It's still about the UGS of it all. It's fine. But back to this. This is just a little feed planner that I do on Illustrator, so you can easily like organize your feed and make sure that you're not repeating content a lot, because that gets a little bit boring. Or like over here, like these two are not the best example, because I was still a little bit in the beginning of knowing how to organize our feed and coming up with different ways to organize our feed. but you can see like especially this side is very busy with all these little portrait like posts over here. So that's what you kind of should avoid. Like your feed in general should be like something that is pleasant to the eye. But anyway, that's not the point. The point here is the type of references that I wanted to show you guys that I do on our Instagram. So as you can see over here from this, we got lots of references up in here. We got this boy right here, which is our good old aliens boy. I had to reference him in a meme. In general, I love doing memes because it's the easiest way to put references across in a way that is very fun and that also is very relatable. The person may want to comment like, oh my god, yeah, I go through that every day, or oh my god, that just happened to me, that's so painful. All these things make the person want to interact, and that's like the biggest goal with social media. You want people to interact with you, to get to know you, to get attached to you. So, references. So here you can see like I referenced the alien guy, which is more of like a conspiracy theory, History Channel buff, that whole demographic sort of people. Then over here we have the classic Nazaré Tedesco meme, the confused lady meme, as non-Portuguese speaking people call her, which is also like a deep ass meme that I love. This one I kind of chose for me, because this character, the Nazaré Tedesco, was a character from one of my favorite soap operas, from like, it's a Brazilian soap opera. So I really wanted to do that. That was kind of a me thing, and also it's just a really famous meme, so everyone was gonna get the reference. So I was like, hell yeah, kill two birds with one stone. Done.
Plus those who know what the meme actually is. You know, people who know her as more than just a confused lady will appreciate it.
Yeah, people that know the character will appreciate like the reference. Then we got ourselves the Star Wars references. You guys have probably noticed that everywhere, anytime, especially when I talk, there's always a hello there. That's how we begin every post. That's how I begin every single one of my lives. And it's a big, like, kind of a thing between us already, that we always say hello there, and we do a lot of Star Wars references because we all kind of Star Wars nerds in here. And Star Wars is just cool, and who is not gonna like General Kenobi? Like, General Kenobi is life, and also that man is like a god, super hot, super amazing. So again, many positive things in one only thing. Over here we got our classic Jim Hopper meme, the one with the little whiteboard. This one was more of a wholesome meme, because that is something that I think I should also talk about. Like, these memes that we do, when you're doing memes for social media, you gotta be careful. Like, you gotta be real careful, girl. Because you can't be too edgy, depending on your demographic, obviously. Like, if your niche is like deep ass edge boys, like those people that don't even go on Reddit, they still in 4chan, like that's the level of edge, then okay, yeah, you can go for more of an edgy style meme, something more deep fried or in general just dank. But when you want a more, well, like a more friendly brand, I'm not gonna say our brand is family friendly, because ain't none of us trying to be that. We're not gonna make games for kids over here. But we're just trying to be like social media friendly in general and more approachable. So we try to go for more of the whole relatability memes instead of just relatability, wholesomeness, all that stuff. We tend to go more on that side just because it's more of a safer bet, and it's also easier to interact with. Good. Yeah, especially inside jokes, because the game developing world is a place that, like, we have a lot of inside jokes, like the whole bug feature joke, the many jokes surrounding programming and the bugs and the errors and all of that, and the confusion that is pixel art. And there's a lot of inside jokes and references that we use, and the whole roasting of EA in general. So I tend to go for more of those, since it's more of a niche thing. It's gonna make people in the niche kind of wanna interact with that, because that's something they know, that's something they live. So that's my strategy when it comes to that. Let's see what 5 cards said. Reddit meme, best kind of meme to us. 4chan is too dark for general marketing. Yeah. In general, I do use Reddit a lot for meme inspirations. I try to never copy fully a meme template because that just, it doesn't sit right with me, even though I do original art for every meme that I post with Untitled. Like, all this art is, I'm the one that does that, either me or Pixel Boy. None of that is stolen. And
So
I
C,
still...
OC, original content.
Yeah, OC, original content over here. But at the same time, like, I don't want to be stealing somebody's template. Like, I don't care if I did different art, if I'm changing, like, a word. Like, I need to vary a little bit. It can't be legitimately the exact same meme, because that just kind of looks bad, you know? It's kind of like stealing art from other people, and I've had that done to me back when I used to do black and white recoloring, like, for pictures and stuff, and that's never fun. So I try to avoid that, and I recommend you guys try to avoid that too. Like, you can take inspiration 100%. Like, look for memes on Reddit because they're really good. There's many subreddits with like niche specific memes, like indie dev memes, Resident Evil memes, I don't know, Breath of the Wild memes, Beatles memes, Pink Floyd memes. Like, any niche that you have, you can find memes of that niche on Reddit, and they're normally very good. Just don't copy precisely what the person did. Like, try to understand the idea behind the meme and what is the joke that the meme makes, and then change that for what you want, like the message you want to get across. That's the best advice that I have for doing memes for marketing. Another thing that I can say to you guys that is like something that I use when it comes to trying to find inspiration of what the fuck I am gonna do for posts and oops, I zoomed out way too much. For posts and stuff for Untitled is I tend to also like look for other brands. I have to admit that I have a little bit of trouble finding gaming brands that do a more like different frictionless sort of advertising. It might be because I just don't know the brands, because I'm not that much into, like, I'm not an active gamer, I don't know, so it's maybe that's why. And also the most of the accounts that I follow are indie developers, so they're much more concerned with just showing the dev process and showing off the game and the features and all that. So they don't use complex campaigning tools. They're more on the simple side of frictionless media. Like I said, like, I don't know if you guys watched the last live that I did about marketing and frictionless media, but I talked about that, like, one of the easiest way that you can market your game and publicize your game is by doing a devlog, because people get attached to things that they see in development. Like, any product whatsoever, be it a game, a perfume, a water bottle, a table, whatever the fuck. Like, have you ever built something with someone else and just have like this weird attachment to it, even though it's even like, it may not be even that good? Like, I don't know, you made a ceramic frog with your mom on Mom's Day once in a ceramic class, and the frog is like literal shit because you're way too young and it looks weird, but you just have like this weird sentimentality towards the frog. So that is exactly what you want to create when you do a devlog, except the person is not going to be that actively participating in creating the game. Maybe like we here in Untitled Game Studios, we do these lives so that you guys can be in the chat interacting with us and giving suggestions like, hey, maybe do something more along these lines, or do something more along these lines, or something like that. But you can do it in many different ways. But in general, if the person accompanies you through the process of making the thing, that is already going to get the person a little bit more attached to the thing. And a big example that I can give you guys that I'm not sure that most of you are going to get, but if you search it a little bit, you may understand, is the whole Jeffree Star Shane Dawson palette. I'm not like trying to promote them or anything, because I know the whole canceling story and I'm not exactly a fan of them anymore. I'm kind of in question, but that's not the point. The point here is they made a very effective campaign. It was what, like 9 or 10 videos. Each video had like almost an hour long or more, and it sold out the fucking palette, man. The website literally crashed. Why? Because us as customers, me speaking personally, because I did buy that palette and I got like that technique worked on me, and I only realized there was a technique being done afterwards when I was like, huh, god damn it, I was manipulated. I just got manipulated. It's fine. So it works, man. You get attached to the whole process because you see the ups and downs. Like you see, I don't know, like something going wrong. Like in the case of a game, you see like a really game crashing bug coming up when the programmer is programming. You're like, fuck, how is he gonna resolve that? I don't know, like, has he tried this? Has he tried that? And then he's trying a bunch of stuff and it's really hard. And then he fixes it and you're like, whoa, oh my god, the game is finally running. Blah, blah. Like, you get emotionally attached to the thing because you're following the process. You're following the whole journey of creation, and that just gives attachment. But there's other ways that you can do frictionless media apart from just devlogging and just showing the whole process of creating the thing. And this is where these two little posts over here that are on the side come up. I selected these, like they're just a few random examples that I got from Instagram. This is a brand that I really like. It's a skincare brand, not a game brand, but it's a really good brand, and I really like the way they do their marketing. Like really like, because it's frictionless but it sells. Because sometimes when you do too frictionless of a media, you kind of don't sell that much because it's so frictionless that the person doesn't even notice that there's a product. So you kind of gotta like get in that little line. I need to drink some water. Sorry, guys. But you kind of got to be careful with how frictionless you are, because if you're too frictionless, that might not work out that well for you, and you might not engage or actually, like, I don't know, acquire costumes, you know. Customers, sorry. My throat's fucked up. But yeah, I selected these two posts because they kind of stood out to me for two different reasons. First of all, this post over here, let me create another layer on top just so I can do that. This post over here is more of a standard kind of like wanting to sell a product post, but I loved the way they positioned the product and the way they display the product, because it's a very standard thing. I don't know if you guys follow like beauty brands and like self-care brands and shit, probably not. But it's a standard thing to just put the product in a solid white background. Kind of like this one without this whole thing. Like, just have the product on a solid white background so the product is the main focus. But over here, they kind of fought out of the box. They were kind of like, no. Why do we want to put it in a solid white background and make something boring just like every other product out there is displayed? Nah, let's make something cute. Let's make something different. Let's make the product like a little bit steamy, like have a little bit of water on it, like it just came out of the shower, like it just did its self-care routine, it's taking care of itself. And let's make like a tiny bathroom for it. Like, let's have a little cute towel, let's have a little cute sink, and show that the product is used after the shower. That way, you're not only like already kind of teaching the person something about the product that is meant to be used after cleaning your face and after your normal cleansing routine, but you're doing it in a different way. You're being like out of the box and different, and you guys do not know how important that is in the fucking oversaturated economy that we have nowadays, especially in the games community. Like, that is like an industry that if saturation was, I don't know, a color, that bitch would be black because so much saturation, like all the color. There's no more room for color. Like there's games coming out every single day. Indie games, AAA games, all types of games with all types of mechanics. So it's a very saturated industry. So you need to stand out. You need to think outside of the box and you gotta do things different, even if it's just a little bit different, because this is not that different. It's still the background is still predominantly white and the focus is still on the product, but they did it a little bit different. They put a little bit of detail, they put a little bit more thought into it, and that already makes it stand out. Let me see. Could that be considered a subtle tutorial? What?
Them using that post to enforce people, the
No.
place in which it would be used.
That goes to my next point. This wouldn't be considered like a subtle tutorial. It's just like, it's just a way to already put in the mind of your clients and your customers subconsciously that that is a product to be used in the bathroom. It's just a little bit of a subconscious play with marketing. But in the other example, on this other example over here on top, they actually do exactly what you were talking about. They actually make a tutorial for the customer, teaching them how to use the product. That is awesome. That is amazing. And that is also something that you can do with indie games. Like if you want to make a Dark Souls type of game that is like absurdly hard to play, has many little hidden mechanics and hidden things in the game that are difficult and that you know that the player is going to have a hard time to find, make a tutorial series. Like make a little series of videos where you showed little tips and tricks of how to do certain things in the game, or you do a little walkthrough of a boss battle, or you do a little walkthrough of how to farm certain elements of the game that are needed to do certain things.
Like they do with Breath of the Wild with them, that they every once in a while they put in the news section of the Switch, like, oh, did you know you can do
Oh
this?
yeah, Breath of the Wild actually does that. Good remember. Yeah. Pixelboy just reminded me, Breath of the Wild does that, and that's actually something really smart. Like some of the mechanics that we've been using now, and specifically that I've been using and that I've been really enjoying in Breath of the Wild, I didn't pick the mechanic up naturally. I saw the developers of Breath of the Wild put that in the news session of the Switch thingy news place. And that's how I found out, like, they have a mechanic where the dogs that are sometimes in the stables, if you give them 2 apples and then a piece of meat, they show you to a chest. And I would have never found that out if it wasn't for the news article. And you better believe me that after reading that, I spent 2 hours going to every single stable in the map and doing that to every single dog that I found, until I got all the chests from the doggos, because it's doggos and a girl loves a doggo. Like everything, you gotta just be open with everything about your product. Like it's hard to summarize marketing, especially digital marketing for the modern market. But if they are, let me see. Yeah, if there are 2 words that are the most important words that you should keep in mind when trying to market a game, a brand, whatever the fuck you want to market, is number 1, transparency. You gotta be transparent. Like, you cannot be sneaky. You cannot be hiding, like, important things from your customers. You cannot be shady. That don't work. Everyone finds out shit. Like, nowadays, the customer is very, very informed because we have Google. Like, anything you say, the person can Google and fact check and make sure if that's how it works. If it's not, how, like, you get caught on lies very, very easily. So be transparent. Show as much as you can. Be open as much as you can. You don't need to show everything. You can still leave a little bit of mystery because that's part of the whole selling. You need a little bit of, teasing and enticing the person, being like, oh, there's something new coming. Oh, we're gonna do this, but don't really tell them what you're gonna do. Just kind of give an idea and all of that. Where the guns are... What? I don't know what's going on in the chat, but okay.
Because of that whole mention of 4chan as like a...
Oh, okay. They're still talking about 4chan. But yeah, you should try to be as transparent as possible, because that develops confidence in the brand, that develops trust in the brand, and that is something that is very important nowadays, because we got a lot of like multinational millionaire companies that are not transparent and that are not trustworthy. Né, Jeff Bezos? I see you, Jeff Bezos. I'm watching you, you fucking richest man in the world, and doing shit with your money to help the rest of the world, but I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, there's a bunch of companies out there that are not transparent and that are not trustworthy. So you gotta get yourself above those. You gotta have the trust of your customers. And number two thing, not singing, but number two thing that is very important when doing marketing nowadays is being unique, having a personality. It's what people in like Instagram and digital marketing love to call authenticity. Like, that's a very broad term to describe it, but basically it just means do you, boo. Like, be you, do you, and be your brand. Don't try to be anyone else. Don't try to just copy other things that people are doing because they're working. Like, make the thing your thing. Like, be creative, take some risks. Because like I said before, man, the market is very, 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 very oversaturated. Like, every market out there. Like, our world with the internet, like, everyone's trying to sell something. Everyone's trying to make something. So there's a lot of people competing with you. And the only way to truly compete and put your product out there to the people that are going to want to buy your product is to be transparent and to be you. Be true to your brand and true to your product. Don't sell yourself short. Like, you don't need to be humble and be like, oh, here's my little game. Like, I made it by myself. I'm not sure if it's good, but like, if you want to play, sure. Like, nah. Don't sell yourself short, bro. Like, be proud of the thing you made. Like, if you finish your game and you want to sell it, you want to market it to the world, be like, hey, this is my game. I'm like this old and I've been working on this for years and I'm really proud of it. It has this and this mechanic that I'm really proud of. The art was done by me and this and that. Like, tell the people what makes the game something that you're proud of and describe it in detail, and don't sell yourself short. This is something that I see a lot when people are trying to publicize their indie game. They're like, and I get you because I go through the same thing when doing things for Untitled sometimes. Like, I'm always like scared to come off braggy or come off like, oh, I'm the best, I know what I'm doing, and come off off-putting. But there's ways that you can word that. There is ways that you can work around certain phrases and certain words that have more of a negative, cocky connotation. And you can just come out as someone that is really, really proud of something they made and that wants to share it with the world. And that's what you should be trying to do. Because that's what you are doing. Like, you're not over here trying to be the king of games. You're just making a game because you like making games and that you liked the idea that you had for that game. And that's what you essentially need to sell. What you need to sell is your game and how good it is and how unique it is. And be proud of that, because people are gonna understand it and they're gonna be curious. Especially when you talk about the mechanics. Like, if your game has like a very specific mechanic that you took inspiration from other games but kind of changed and made it your own, dude, run with that shit. Like, put it everywhere. Let everyone know that you did that. Same thing with inspirations. Like, I'm not sure if the feed thing that I had here showed it. Yeah, it does. Like, these little posts that I make sometimes with the inspiration behind the characters, and I'm probably gonna make one in the future with the general inspiration for Exaudia too. But these posts are amazing. You have no clue. Because they're very subtle. Like they're not as like amazing for engagement as the memes. But these ones can also tell a lot about the game and about the thought that went behind it. Because when you look in the inspirations, you can see the references that the creator is pulling. You can see kind of like the back catalog and the research that went behind it. And that already shows like, you know, a really big dedication to the project. Like, it's not everyone that does this amount of research when creating a game. Believe me, if you look at those crappy phone apps, you're going to see the lack of research, you know? Not all apps. I'm saying the really crappy ones that don't work and are there to just like literally get your money and your watch time for ads. But yeah, like if your game has a lot of research put into it and has references to certain games that are games that you like and that you know that other people like a lot as well, go for it. Share those inspirations. Don't be scared to say that, yeah, I took inspiration from this, I took inspiration from that. Like, no. Be proud of that inspiration because you probably took that inspiration and made it your own. And that's what you need to be proud of. Like, us with Exaudia. One of our biggest inspirations, like the boys in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but the biggest inspiration behind Exaudia is Zelda and Pokemon. But our game is not at all like both Zelda and Pokemon. It was just an inspiration. But we are very proud that we took those games as inspirations because they are the big classics. Like even me as not a gamer girl and not that much an RPG person, I played both of those games and enjoyed them a lot. So share your references. That is very important. That is another way to use nostalgia, to use references, to attract more audience and more people, more eyeballs to what you are doing. Let me see the chat real quick. Exactly, yeah. You gotta remember that you and us too, like none of us over here in the indie world are EA or like, I don't know, Ubisoft and those big AAA companies. We don't need to appease the shareholders and make millions or the shareholders are gonna be mad at us. Nah. Your focus is to make something that makes you proud and that is fun and that makes people happy. Or even that can be not your focus. It can be something else completely. You can be like, nah, I want to be a dick and I want to make games that make people go into full-on panic attacks and explore their emotions and go into deep like emotional turmoil and explore their traumas and stuff. You do you, boo. You do you, boo. Like, if you want to do that, be proud of that and be open with that. Because believe me, there's gonna be people on the internet that want that. Like, listen to Bo Burnham and his song, Welcome to the Internet. Like, everything and anything all of the time. And with anything and everything all of the time, you're also gonna find anyone and everyone that wants that thing that you want to put out. So that's the thing, like, you do you. Make something that makes you proud and that you put your whole heart into it. And people are gonna go behind it and people are gonna support you and people are gonna play it and be happy with the thing that are not happy if that's your thing. But like, people are gonna support you. People are gonna want to see what's next. Yeah, just be careful with dark humor. That's what 5card just said in the chat and I agree with him. Like, if you're gonna use dark humor, be really careful. Like, be really careful about it and be like, do some research maybe and just like steer clear of possibly getting canceled. Just putting that out there because that's a culture that is very like, ooh, once you get into the cancel sphere, my bro, that shit's hard to come by. Like, even as a person that studied PR, it's hard. It's hard, even as a PR person. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Like, be original, be you, and most of all, share. The internet is here for you to share things. Like, we no longer live in an age that you need to go to the press to share the products and the stuff that you're making. Thank the good fucking gracious. Because still, that's not my point. Like, we don't need to go to the press. We don't need to buy a TV ad for I don't know how many euros that even costs to be able to advertise our product. Nah, we can just put it on social media literally for free. So spend the fuck out of your social media with the stuff that you're proud of and the stuff that you're making, and eventually you're gonna build a following. It might take a year, it might take 2, it might take 3, it might take 10, but if you know what you're doing, if you're proud of what you're doing, and if you're constantly doing it and putting in the dedication, people are gonna see that dedication. Like, look at us. Not to be braggy, not to do a humble brag over here, but we are a studio for a year and a little bit as Untitled Game Studios officially. And, like, I'm not gonna say we have a huge following, because we don't. Like, we're not like those big YouTubers that they go on a live stream and suddenly there's 1,000 people watching them. But we already, like, we have a pretty good following. We have, like, a little bit of people that are interested in the things we talk about. A few people that like our posts and that are interested in playing our games. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. It's little by little. You cannot expect that if you post 100 posts on Instagram and make 100 live streams for, like, a year, that the next year you're already going to be famous. That's not how it works, unfortunately. Because for that to work, you need a huge amount of luck. Believe me, I've tried to do the whole YouTuber game, and just don't try to rush things. Do it because you're proud. Do it because you love it. And hey, if you need a little bit of a boost, if you see that, like, your social medias are not getting that much traction, you're already, like, really close to the launch of your game, the game is pretty much ready, and you're kind of scared that all this work that you put into your game is not going to be paid off because you don't have the following for people to, a good amount of people to buy the game, then go to the press. That is also something that the internet really helped, because back in the day, if you wanted to go to the press, you needed to have the phone numbers, you needed to know people, you need to have the connects and all that stuff. Nowadays, you don't. There's a bunch of resources online for for websites that literally, like, do press for indie games and games in general. You can just search up, like, Twitter accounts of influencers that talk about indie games on a weekly basis, that do stream testing out indie games. You can talk to actual press and websites and newspapers that talk about indie games. You can literally, like, use every news network there is to be your press, because the internet just opens that up for you. Like, you no longer need to have the specific connects to get to those people. You just need to know the website and email them and hope to God they respond the email. And most of the time they will. That is also something that I see a lot of people talking about in, like, indie dev subreddits, indie dev Twitter and all that stuff, that they're always like, oh, but I never know if it's worth my time to email them. I don't know if they're gonna respond. They're probably not even gonna wanna, like, put my game anywhere or talk about my game. But hey, like, you're selling yourself short, like, legitimately. These people are press people. They need to have news for every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Like, they need to have stuff to talk about. So, like, even if it takes a while, they will probably eventually talk about your game. They will just put it in the back catalog because they need stuff to talk about.
Hey, you already combined the way like your dad used to say, you already have the know.
Yeah, that is a saying that my dad used to tell me, that is very important for all you guys wanting to market your indie games. Like, always take the risk. You already have the no. Like, if you don't do shit, that's the no. You don't get the result you want. You don't get the thing you want. You already have that. So try. Like, give it a try. Give it a risk. Send the email. Send the message. Send the DM. And hey, you might get the yes. You never know. You might as well try. I don't know. I feel like I've been talking, like, on, I don't know, how do you say it? Monologue. I've been monologuing for way too long. So, like, anyone have any questions? Like, come on, people. Let's do a little Q&A over here. Like, any questions about social media, streaming, publicity, how to do Instagram, how to do Facebook, how to do YouTube, how to do Twitter, like, anything, throw them at me. Your girl open. No questionritos for your girl. And just for the people watching this in the future, when this is on YouTube, if anyone watching this on YouTube, not live, still has questions, you can put it in the comments and I will respond to you. Hehe. But now, people over here in the actual live stream, any questions before we wrap up the live, even though it was a very, very short live stream. I wish it could have gone longer, but kind of need questions for that to happen. Because I only planned a little bit out. I was expecting like questions and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I was a little bit too cocky. Because marketing is a very situational thing. How to get billionaire. Sell foot pics online.
I mean, if you look at the sentence the way...
Or furry.
If you look at the sentence how it was asked, you can get a billionaire, you just gotta sneak into their private...
Yeah, that's true. If you want to get a billionaire, just like Google where Jeff Bezos live and go do your thing. You're gonna get the richest man in the world, bro.
Like she said, you already have to know.
Yeah, you already have the no. You might as well try for the yes. Please, not Twitch. I am not trying to convince people to kidnap Jeff Bezos. This is a joke. Please.
No, we cannot confirm nor deny.
Shut the fuck up. It's a joke. It's a joke. Let me see. How do you know what will get you canceled or not? Ooh, okay. How to know if you're gonna get canceled? That is a very good question. In general, when I'm being online, I try to be as correct as possible. So if I see that something is a touchy topic for anyone whatsoever, I don't touch on that topic. Or if I have to touch on that topic, I am deeply respectful and wholesome with it. Like very deeply respectful and wholesome with it. Because if you go too edgy with sensitive topics, girl, you're gonna get canceled. That just the internet. That's what happens.
Kind of a problem for people who want to do more stuff.
You make slightly darker joke, you get fucked even if you meant no ill will. Yeah, joking like dark jokes online is very hard. Like I understand 100% you guys, but in general, especially as a brand, you should avoid it. Like as a person, go for it. Like it's your thing, you're live. Like if you want to talk about the stuff you want to talk about, you do you, boo. But as a brand, try to avoid it unless that is your niche. Then if that is your niche, say fuck it to all the bitches trying to cancel you, because you know what you're doing, so do you.
I guess just try to stay self-aware.
Yeah, being self-aware, like that is the biggest thing. And cancellation, guys, like it's a difficult thing to handle, yes. It might be very detrimental to a brand, yes. Or to someone's mental health especially. But it's also not that final. That is something that a lot of people don't talk about. And as a marketing person, following all YouTube dramas and cancel culture and all that stuff, it's not that final, man. Look at Trisha Paytas and Tana Mojo. I don't know if any of you guys know who those people are. But those are two YouTubers that have been canceled over 20 times in the last 2 years. Like literally, every single week they get canceled for something. And yet, they're still making money, bro. They're still making videos. They're still getting deals and promotions and stuff. So, you just gotta be true to yourself and you gotta know that you are not doing it in ill faith. I'm not saying to like do all the things and be disrespectful and shit. Like, nah, you should never be disrespectful to people online because that's just not good. That's not fun for anyone. But if you know what you're doing and if you know that the thing that you're doing is not an ill intent, it's just a joke, or it's just something that you're doing to advertise something, it's not meant to be offensive, and you actually did the research and you know that it's not truly offensive to the people that it relates to, then you just gotta not care about the little bitches trying to cancel you. Basically. But you gotta do the research though, because there's things that like someone of a certain like race, nationality, or life experience in general might not find offensive and might find like okay to joke about, okay to talk about, but other people might not and might get deeply offended because it relates to traumas they had in their life or traumas that in general like their experience has involved. So just do research. Do research, be respectful, and just think of the other people. Like, that is something that I talk about in my manual that I did for my thesis, right in the beginning, like literally like one of the first pages of the manual. And that is to never respond to hate online with hate. If somebody's trying to cancel you, if somebody's pointing something out to you that they dislike, even if they're being 100% a disrespectful douchebag, you, as a marketing person, as a brand owner, as an online personality of sorts, or someone that is trying to sell stuff online, you cannot be disrespectful back. Never. Like, that is your job, and it's a shitty ass job, because as a person you just want to tell the person to fuck off and shit, but you can't. You can't, because that's your job. You gotta be respectful, and you gotta try to understand the person. Even if there's barely anything to understand, the person is barely cohesive as like a talking person. The person's barely rational. You still gotta try to make sense of it and understand their point. That's the biggest thing with dealing with online and online communities and online marketing and digital marketing and all that stuff. No, and even like Rick just said, like, even if they're accusing you of a crime, it's just somebody complaining online. Like, even if they're accusing you of a crime, they can literally, like, I don't know, be going through a thing and be like, oh, you killed someone. Like, don't overreact. You know that's not true. You know that that's something you didn't do. So don't get defensive. Just stay respectful and tell the person your side in the most respectful way possible. If they insist with those allegations, you can literally do what is it called? I forget the name. It's a lawsuit. You can sue a person for that. I forget the name. No, it's not harassment. It's slander. Yeah, you can sue the person for slander. So that's also an option. But I also don't recommend that. Just try to be nice, try to be respectful. Don't get too defensive, because that also kind of makes people sus. They're like, why are you getting so defensive? You probably have something to hide. Just be respectful, talk openly, and try to understand the point that the person is trying to get across, basically.
It's a balance between staying true to yourself and like just explaining your side, but without I guess gaslighting the other person.
Yeah, it's what Rick said right now. Like, you gotta try to balance out being true to yourself, being respectful to the internet, because as a brand owner, you gotta look out for your brand. Defamation. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. Defamation. You gotta be true to yourself, but you, as a person that is a brand owner of sorts, or has a brand, has a product, has stuff to sell online, you gotta defend your product. You gotta be on the lookout and not be the person that damages that brand. So you gotta be very respectful. And in general, just like try to understand the person, because gaslighting is a big thing nowadays, when the person just tries to defend themselves and kind of make it seem like the other person's opinion doesn't matter or doesn't make sense. Don't do that. Don't diminish the person, don't put them down, don't make it seem like they're worthless and their opinion's worthless. Quite the contrary. Make it seem like you really need their opinion, because in fact you do. It's an opinion of a possible customer. So take it with that level of importance and try to understand as much as you can from it, and just be respectful. That's literally it. I don't know if there's any more questions or things that I can talk about. Yeah, we did go over an hour. Not sure if there's anything else that I should talk about or show or do. Yeah, maybe we should wrap it up. It is an hour. What? Oh, fuck, it's on my pen. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. But yeah, so I think this is gonna be it. I think we're gonna stop right here, the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know this was a little bit more of a not so visual live stream, but then again, I know most of you like listening to these live streams while you work or do other things, so that might also be fun, not to have like many visual aspects to it, more of a talking thing. The visual maybe just like helping the talking. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions of stuff that you guys want us to do in coming up live streams, make sure to like leave it in our Discord or social medias. Like, you can tell us anywhere. I'm always checking every single channel of social media that we have, so I'm always looking out for you guys suggesting stuff, talking about stuff and all of that. So yeah, make sure to do that if you have any ideas or things that you want to see in the live stream. Also, I have a little announcement that I need to make before I forget, or the boys are gonna literally try to kill me. But next week we are gonna be taking a breakerino. It's basically like the break moment here in Portugal. Like in August, everyone takes a break, so we're gonna try to take advantage of that, because all our thesis orientators are taking breaks. All of our jobs and other stuff that we do are also like slowing down and taking breaks. So we're gonna kind of take this opportunity to take a little bit of a week off next week. We're not gonna have much on social media. I'm gonna post just little art things that we already posted in the past, just as like showing off. We're not gonna have the live stream, but we will be back the week after that with more live streams and more work, and we're actually gonna be doing a little bit of a crunch, so there's gonna be a lot more new stuff to show, hopefully on the live streams and the social media, so be on the lookout for that. And I think I didn't forget anything that I need to say. I think that was all that I needed to say. Yeah, make sure to check out the links that the boys are putting in the chat. We have the links to our Instagram, Untitled Game Studios. We have the link to our Facebook, which is U Game Studios. We didn't have Untitled Game Studios because somebody had taken that from us, but it's fine. We have our Twitter, UGS, UGS. I'm sorry, Cado. That's just the way I say it. UGS_studio. We have our itch, where you can play there the two alphas of the two games that we're making right now. There's the alpha for Red Run, which is very, very fun and also very difficult. That that platforming ain't for me. I ain't got the skills for platforming, but it's a very fun game, very spoopy and very nice. And there's also the alpha for Exaudia, which is this whole shebang that we're making right now. I just need to warn you guys, because the alpha for Exaudia is absurdly loud and will rape your ears. So please lower your volume or you will regret it. But do try it, because it's also fun. It's just very raw. I think that's the best description that I could. It's a very raw version of Exaudia. Don't think that the game's gonna be like that, because that was a very old alpha. But it gives a little bit of a taste of Rooney of the game. It gives you a little bit of how the game is gonna be. So give that a try and check out all our links: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Coffee, IndieDB, and our Discord. Make sure to join our Discord. We're always talking over there and making sure that we're on top of everything that you guys want and sharing some stuff in there as well. And I think that's it. So thank you so much for joining us today, my beautiful people, for joining us on this marketing live stream with moi. And we'll see you guys not next week, but on the other week with maybe Kadu or Pixel Boy, maybe our programmer, maybe our Pixel Boy. We don't know yet, but we'll see you in 2 weeks with another live stream. And make sure to stay up on our social media, because we're always there talking and interacting. Yes, and this is gonna be it. Goodbye.